We've all felt the allure of a game of chance. The spin of the roulette wheel, the pull of a slot machine, the turn of a card. It's exciting. But for some, this harmless fun takes a dark turn, becoming a compulsive need they can't control. This is gambling addiction, and it's more than just bad luck or poor choices. It's about the brain's intricate wiring and psychological traps that are hard to escape. Think of it like this. Imagine your brain is a powerful computer. Gambling, with its flashing lights and promises of riches, hacks into this system. It exploits vulnerabilities, rewiring the way you think and feel about risk, reward, and even yourself. Understanding these vulnerabilities is the first step to breaking free. We need to delve into the psychological mechanisms that make gambling so addictive, exposing the hidden traps that lie in wait. This isn't about judging, it's about empowering you with knowledge. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it might just be the power to change your life. Let's get real, let's get honest, and let's get to work understanding this complex issue. Let's talk about dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical. This neurotransmitter plays a crucial role in how we experience pleasure and reward. It's the driving force behind many pleasures in life, from enjoying a delicious meal to achieving a personal goal. Whether it's savoring a bite of your favorite dessert or hitting a milestone you've worked hard for, dopamine is there, making you feel good. When we experience something rewarding, our brain releases dopamine, creating a sense of pleasure that reinforces the behavior. This release acts as a signal, telling us that whatever we just did is worth doing again. This is how we learn what feels good and what we want to repeat. It's a fundamental part of our brain's learning process, helping us to seek out experiences that bring us joy and satisfaction. Gambling, my friends, is a master manipulator of this system. It taps into our brain's reward circuitry in a way that's both powerful and insidious. The act of placing a bet, the anticipation of a win, even the near misses, all trigger the release of dopamine. Each spin of the slot machine or roll of the dice is a potential jackpot, and our brain responds accordingly. This creates a powerful feedback loop where the brain craves more and more gambling to chase that feeling of reward. The excitement and anticipation become almost addictive. But here's the kicker. The dopamine rush is even stronger when the reward is uncertain. The unpredictability of gambling outcomes makes the brain's reward system go into overdrive. This is where the concept of near misses comes into play. Near misses are particularly potent because they trick the brain into thinking a win is just around the corner. Imagine a slot machine, the symbols almost aligning for a big win, but not quite. That almost moment is enough to trigger a significant dopamine release. Your brain gets flooded with dopamine, even though you technically lost. The near miss creates a false sense of progress, making you feel like you're on the verge of winning. Why? Because your brain interprets that near miss as a sign that you're almost there, fueling the desire to try again. It's a deceptive trick that keeps you coming back for more. This constant bombardment of dopamine, especially from near misses, hijacks the brain's reward system. It creates a cycle of craving and reward that can be incredibly hard to break. It's like being stuck on a roller coaster of highs and lows, with the lows only fueling the desperate need for another high. The emotional ups and downs can be exhausting, yet the promise of that next big win keeps you hooked. Let's face it, humans are drawn to the unknown. It's an intrinsic part of our nature, a deep-seated curiosity that drives us to explore, discover, and experience new things. We love surprises, the anticipation of what might be. This excitement, this thrill, is what makes life so unpredictable and exhilarating. It's what makes us watch movies, play games, and yes, even gamble. These activities tap into our desire for excitement and the unknown, offering a temporary escape from the mundane. This is where the concept of variable reinforcement comes into play, and it's a cornerstone of gambling addiction. The uncertainty of the outcome keeps us engaged, always hoping for that big win. Think of it like this. Imagine you're training a dog. The principles of reinforcement are not just limited to animals, they apply to humans as well. If you give the dog a treat every time it sits, it learns the behavior quickly. Consistency in rewards leads to predictable outcomes. But what if you only gave the treat sometimes? The unpredictability makes the dog more eager and attentive. The dog becomes obsessed, constantly repeating the behavior in the hope of getting that reward. This intermittent reinforcement is powerful and can lead to compulsive behavior. Gambling operates on the same principle. The uncertainty of the reward keeps us coming back for more, always chasing that elusive win. The unpredictable nature of games of chance keeps us hooked. Each spin of the wheel or shuffle of the cards brings a new possibility, a new hope. We never know when that big win might come, so we keep playing, driven by the hope of hitting the jackpot. The small wins keep us motivated, fueling our desire to continue. This constant state of anticipation and uncertainty keeps our brains engaged, making it harder to walk away, even when we know we should. The emotional highs and lows create a powerful cycle that's difficult to break. It's a roller coaster of emotions, and like any good ride, it's the thrill of the unknown that keeps us strapped in, begging for one more go. The adrenaline rush is addictive, making us crave more. But remember, this roller coaster doesn't always go up. The highs are exhilarating, but the lows can be crushing. The lows can be devastating, both financially and emotionally. It's important to recognize the risks and know when to step off the ride before it takes too great a toll on our lives. We humans have a deep-seated need to feel in control. It gives us a sense of security, a belief that we can influence the outcomes of our lives. But here's the thing about gambling. It thrives on the illusion of control. Gambling games are often designed to give players a false sense of agency. Consider slot machines with their flashing lights and buttons to push, or card games where you make decisions about your hand. These elements create the illusion that you have some control over the outcome, when in reality, the house always has the edge. This illusion of control can be incredibly seductive. It taps into our desire to believe we are masters of our own destiny, that we can outsmart the system and come out on top. But the truth is, gambling is largely a game of chance. No amount of skill or strategy can guarantee a win in the long run. This illusion is a dangerous trap, leading people to believe they are in control when they are anything but. It fuels the belief that they can beat the odds, leading to riskier bets and heavier losses. Section 5. So close. The power of near wins. Remember that dopamine rush we talked about earlier? Well, near wins are like the ultimate dopamine tease. They exploit our brain's reward system, making us feel like we're on the verge of a big win, even when we're losing. Think about it. You're playing a slot machine, and 2 out of 3 symbols line up for the jackpot. Your heart races, your palms sweat, you feel a surge of excitement. Even though you didn't win, your brain registers that near miss as a partial win, releasing dopamine and strengthening the desire to keep playing. These near wins are not just random occurrences, they are often carefully programmed into games of chance. Slot machines, for example, are designed to provide a high frequency of near misses, keeping players engaged and feeding the illusion that a big win is just around the corner. The problem is, our brains have a hard time distinguishing between near wins and actual wins. Both trigger the release of dopamine, creating a powerful feedback loop that keeps us hooked, chasing that elusive jackpot. Section 6. A temporary escape. Gambling as a coping mechanism. Life can be tough, and sometimes it feels like the weight of the world is on our shoulders. We all face stress, anxiety, and difficult emotions that can seem overwhelming at times. And sometimes we just want to escape, to forget our troubles, even if just for a little while. The desire to find a moment of peace is a natural human instinct. For some, gambling becomes that escape, a way to numb the pain and find temporary relief from the pressures of everyday life. The thrill of the game can be intoxicating. The act of gambling can provide a sense of distraction, a way to shift focus away from problems and worries. It offers a temporary reprieve from the harsh realities we face. The flashing lights, the sounds of the casino, the excitement of the game, it all creates an immersive experience that allows people to temporarily disconnect from reality. It's a world where, for a moment, nothing else matters. But here's the danger. Gambling doesn't solve problems, it only postpones them. The temporary escape can lead to long-term consequences. In fact, it often exacerbates them. The financial strain of gambling losses can be devastating. The financial strain of gambling losses, the mounting debts, and the constant worry about money can create a downward spiral. The guilt and shame associated with addiction, the feeling of having let oneself and others down, these issues only add to the burden, creating a vicious cycle of escape and consequence. The more one tries to escape, the deeper they sink into the quicksand of their problems. It's important to remember that seeking escape is a normal human response to stress. Finding healthy ways to cope is crucial, but gambling is not a healthy coping mechanism. There are better ways to deal with stress and anxiety. It's like putting a band-aid on a broken bone. It might provide temporary relief, but it won't address the underlying issue. True healing requires addressing the root causes of our pain and finding sustainable solutions. Section 7. The need for speed, instant gratification in gambling. We live in a world of instant gratification. We want everything fast. Fast food, fast internet, fast results. And gambling, my friends, taps into this desire for immediacy like few other activities can. The allure of instant gratification is a powerful motivator. It triggers the release of dopamine, creating a sense of pleasure and reward that keeps us coming back for more. And gambling, with its quick wins and immediate payouts, provides that instant gratification in spades. Think about it. From slot machines to scratch-off tickets, many forms of gambling offer the possibility of winning big in an instant. This immediacy of reward is highly addictive, creating a feedback loop that can be difficult to break. The problem is, this focus on instant gratification can blind us to the long-term consequences. It prevents us from making rational decisions, leading to impulsive bets and reckless spending. Section 8. Money? What money? The financial disconnect. One of the sneakiest tricks gambling uses is creating a disconnect from the value of money. When we gamble, we often don't think of money as we normally do. It becomes chips, credits, or digital numbers on a screen, abstract representations of value rather than tangible bills and coins. This psychological distance from real money makes it easier to gamble larger amounts. We're not handing over physical cash, so it doesn't feel as real as consequential. This can lead to reckless betting and significant losses, as the emotional impact of losing virtual currency is often less than losing hard-earned cash. Think about it. Would you be as likely to gamble away a $100 bill as you would $100 in casino chips? Probably not. The physical act of handing over cash creates a tangible connection to its value, a connection that is often lost in the world of gambling. This financial disconnect is a dangerous trap, leading to a distorted perception of wins and losses. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of the game and lose track of how much you're actually spending.